have to say, I hate taking Bondo off, and I really regret not going to the store and buying some paint stripper. But what's done is done. Would have been nice if I had a paved front drive on this shop, so I could have, rolled this rotisserie out of the shop before doing this, since now everything is covered in Bondo dust. So the roof is stripped, minus a couple of, little primer areas. We ran out of those paint strippers. These little doohickeys. Ran through about 3 or 4 of them. And then I wire wheeled the rest. And whatever kind of primer they had, I'm not sure what they had on this roof, because so I don't know if this is original either. I'm assuming no, because it had a good bit of Bondo on here, and I don't believe that came from factory. So it had this gray primer that I thought was epoxy, because it seemed like it was on there pretty good. But when I'd hit it with a wire wheel, it almost would smear like seam sealer. So I'm not sure what it was. The paint stripper just sucked it off real quick. Phrasing. But as you see, it gummed it up too. But stripped in here with wire wheel. This lead seam right here. Wire wheel kind of ate into it, so I'm sure I'll have the Bondo over it smoothly. Just kind of cleaned inside of this. I didn't strip all this stuff bare. I don't think I'm going to. It'd take forever. It doesn't want to come off. But this, everything's covered in Bondo, but you can see it's scuffed, it's clean, there's no rust there. I'm just gonna spray epoxy over the little bits of paint that remain. Same thing with this rear deck. Some of it's bare metal, some of it's still got the primer paint stuff on it. I'm just gonna clean all this off. I'm gonna spend the next day or two vacuuming up the shop and sweeping and dusting off and blowing it out, and et cetera, to try to get all this dust and shit back out of here, so I can begin the work that I have to do on these. So I think I mentioned in a previous video that TCI, Total Cost Involved, changed their design on their rear torque arm suspension. As you can see, it's a good bit different than it was. They added these tabs, and that's really the only thing that's major that's on here. And I don't really feel like cutting these off, so I might end up just buying some metal this thickness and cutting out this shape and this shape and just welding it onto the lip at the right measurement, of course. Now this one does have 3 holes, which they told me was more adjustability. However, TCI's support is starting to seem like not the best, because they seem to be pretty slow to reply, and I don't know, for the price of their stuff, you'd think that they'd be on point. It took me forever to get them on the phone. Left voicemails, finally had to just call back and get them while they were in the office. But their stuff is nice. I'm not gonna complain about that. I mean, these welds are beautiful. Very well made. So the one thing is, they changed this bar. These are the 2 end pieces for this gray epoxy cross member there. So they changed it to where now it can be cut down to size and then placed in. This is supposed to go like so, I believe. Oh, maybe that way. Yeah, that way. Yeah, because you'd have to drill and put a bolt. These holes on the end here and over there and right there to be welded plugged. But as you can see, I already have the frame extension. These Detroit Speed frame adjusters with reinforcements welded in. This reinforcement is welded to this. This is welded to the Detroit Speed rail. I'm not cutting all that out. It'd be way too much of a pain. This is a weld going down this. I had to split these because the original ones were too narrow. These, I'm sure, are more wide. Let's see. Yeah, so they're wider. That has play. The other ones were made to fit this. The Detroit Speed is wider. They would not fit over them. So that's the next step of welding on the underside. Inside was stripped. Those pillars, as that C pillar or whatever, or the sail panel, that's stripped. Where the windows go, stripped. I just kind of wire wheeled inside of this. I'm not going to strip it completely. That was already epoxied and brand new. I had to replace that. So all that stuff, and then of course I welded in those rear panels here to the mini tubs. Fabbed in the little extension on the ends, as you can see, that goes towards the sail panel. Welded those back on. So scuffed these have to be epoxied again. I'm gonna have to probably epoxy down here and re-seam seal where it burned through that one. Doesn't look like it hit this one. This one, however, burned up, so I'll have to wire wheel that, re-epoxy, re-seam seal. And then the whole car, of course, has to be, on the underside, has to be epoxied again to go over the seam sealer. Same thing on the front, in the engine bay. So, I have rain the next 2 days, which sucks, since this is bare metal. I'm sure I'm gonna get surface rust. Surface rust would be a whole lot easier to take off, though, than all this Bondo paint. I live in South Mississippi. If I waited for pretty days to work on the car, I'd never get it done. And of course, some of the Bondo mist right there. And there. So I'll have to blow it off and find the few areas I missed so I can finish hitting it. Yeah. That's the only one I have left is the one on my air tool. It's a different size. Anyways, so one other thing on the TCI wood, and I'll have to show in another video, that I was kind of upset with. The crossbar, I don't know if they forgot to turn the gas on or if some of their stuff's cold rolled, some is hot rolled, they didn't clean the mill scale off or what, but like those welds are beautiful on that other piece. The welds on the new one, like on this piece or on these, they are terrible. Scaly, nasty, looks like they just TIG welded it with no gas. I don't know. It's kind of disappointed in that. But other than that, hopefully I'll be able to figure that out. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna cut these. I kind of wish they wouldn't have sent me these and would have sent me just the 4 of these tabs that weren't welded on. That would have been a whole lot more useful. I even told the guy that, and he sent me these anyways, and I'm sure these cost probably like $150 by themselves or some shit, because they're freaking ridiculous. I'll have to call and see if I can mail those back maybe. But yeah, that's where it's at. The rear ends over there are stripped apart. I think I showed those in a previous video maybe. 9s that I picked up. Yeah, I remember just mentioning these. But yeah, this one's like cut in. Still not sure about that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.